This piece is called My Training Bra. You'll see why. It was Carnival Week in Provincetown, the height of the summer tourist season, an unlikely time for me to show up on the tip of Cape Cod. Still, I had the time, a 6-week summer sabbatical, and no one to spend it with. So I signed up for a creative writing course at the Fine Arts Work Center over in the east end of town. Taking a class would bring me together with fellow artists and writers, and might lead to connections with handsome men, or so I hoped. As things turned out, my 12-person workshop consisted of the instructor, a married straight man, 9 women, and 1 other guy. That man, with his dark chocolate skin, tight, muscular build, and white teeth, was nice looking and about my age. My gaydar beeped, and I imagined a liaison between us until he mentioned his partner of 15 years, who turned out to be white, lean, and equally good looking. It became painfully obvious that if I wanted to meet someone during my time in P-Town or just have a nice flirtation, I'd need to venture out into the gay masses that flow along Commercial Street, the town's main drag. Walking through town, my eyes bugged out at the sight of one mouth-watering beauty after another, their buff pecs, muscled chests on display for all to see. Meanwhile, I felt like a human blood clot, unworthy of their notice. I was invisible, submerged in the sea of middle age. Some of my straight women friends, past 40 or 50 themselves, had described their feelings of being invisible, of the strange mix of disappointment and relief they felt when attention from men, hungry wolfish looks and catcalls evaporated like a summer shower. I wasn't looking for a one-night stand. I simply wanted to be seen, to be noticed by one of those handsome studs strutting by in their tank tops and cargo shorts. Clearly, my clothes weren't displaying my limited assets to their best effect. After several days in town, I timidly walked into a store called Body Body. I'd been there the previous fall during a sale when their prices were adjusted from utterly ridiculous to merely expensive. Most of their clothes were designed for men with biceps like melons and butts like cantaloupes, not for thin, hairy, mildly fit guys like me. Their racks were filled with clothing designed to expose one's physique, microscopic swimsuits and sheer mesh t-shirts. But men are visual animals. I needed to reveal more if I was going to peel one from the pack. My loose gray t-shirts weren't doing the trick. The toned body within was invisible to the naked eye. I needed a man with x-ray vision, or someone who, like Abba sang back in the 70s, would take a chance on me. Heading back to the sale rack, I discovered that 50% of $200 is still a lot of money. But I persisted and eventually found a sky blue tank top, size medium, a bit snug, a little short, but well designed to just show off what little musculature I had. I'll show you. A few minutes later, I was back out on Commercial. As I walked against the flow of traffic, most of the men were heading over to tea dance at the Boat Slip, a local bar. I understood for the first time the frustration of teenage girls. Like them, I straightened my back, pulled back my shoulders, and thrust out my chest, determined to fill out my version of a training bra. For a moment or several, I felt pretty good about myself. I mean, my chest and flat stomach remained north of the equator, and I still had bladder control. But my pecs, the ones I'd been developing slowly over the past year at Workout World, barely made an impression against the cotton fabric of my new shirt. As I scanned the crowd, one man after another, blonde hair, black, brunette, all bronzed and sculpted, I pulled down the tank top, forcing it to fit my body. But there was still a gap at chest height, as if the shirt were waiting for me to fully inhabit its form. I was a 51-year-old man, hearing aid tucked discreetly behind his left ear, striving for youth, lusting after men a decade younger. But the only look I gathered was from a dusty, wizened character about my age who was leaning against the storefront. Still, he examined me up and down with a look that might have been lust or simply curiosity. Eventually, the shirt chafed against my dry, sunburned skin. The air cooled. and I changed into a loose-fitting button-down shirt that allowed me to walk normally and breathe naturally. The next week I was back at the gym doing the pec fly and the chest press. Next year when I return to Provincetown, I hope to finally fill out my new shirt. In the meantime, I welcome fall with its looser, less revealing clothes and cooler weather, which leave my flaws and assets to the imagination of the viewer. Thank you.